We all worry about it, don't we? That moment in retirement when the income just, well, it stops.
Hmm.
Or maybe worse, the market tanks. And suddenly that nest egg you planned so carefully looks a lot smaller.
It's a very real fear.
Yeah. So today we're doing a deep dive into a financial tool that's really designed specifically to tackle that fear: annuities.
That's right.
Our mission here really is to take this topic that often feels confusing, maybe even a bit intimidating, and turn it into something clear, actionable, how these contracts work, who they're actually good for, and how they fit into, well, your quest for financial security for life.
Exactly. And we've got a ton of great material. You've sent over articles, research, notes.
Yep, lots to unpack.
We're going to distill it down. Our goal is just to cut through the jargon, explore annuities properly, what they are, how they work, the different kinds, and, why they matter for your future.
Okay, let's unpack this.
The big question we're chasing is, how can you set up a guaranteed income stream that, well, lasts as long as you do? It's about tackling that anxiety, that fear of outliving your savings.
That fear is huge. Absolutely. And that's why understanding tools like annuities is just so critical. So let's start right at square one. For anyone listening who's maybe heard the term but isn't totally sure, what is an annuity, fundamentally? And how is it different from, say, life insurance?
Great place to start. Yeah, it's confusing sometimes. An annuity is basically a contract. You make it with an insurance company.
A contract.
Right. You pay them, money could be a lump sum, could be payments over time, and in return, they promise to pay you back. A regular income stream, usually starting later, often for your whole life.
Okay, so life insurance is for when you die, but annuities are for while you're living.
Exactly. That's the key difference. Life insurance pays your beneficiaries, your family, after you're gone. And annuity is designed to give you income while you're alive. Think of it like a personal pension you buy for yourself.
A personal pension. I like that analogy. So the why is pretty clear then. Securing that future income, dealing with the risk of running out of money.
Precisely. It's what we call longevity risk. Annuities are really built to provide that guaranteed income stream, especially for folks in or near retirement. It gives you that peace of mind, knowing your basic costs are covered.
Okay. And you mentioned paying them. Is it always one big check, or can you do it over time?
Oh, definitely flexible. You can fund it with a single big lump sum payment, or you can make periodic payments, like contributing to a 401k over the years.
Right.
Either way, your money goes into what's called the accumulation phase.
Accumulation phase. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And during this time, your funds grow. Often it's tax-deferred growth.
Meaning you don't pay taxes on the gains right away.
Exactly. Not until you start taking withdrawals. Then the flip side is the annuitization phase or payout phase. That's when you, the annuitant, the investor, actually start getting those regular payments back.
And that payout can be for a set time or for life.
Both are options. It could be for, say, 10 or 20 years. Or, and this is very common, it's designed to last for the rest of your life. It's all about converting those savings into steady cash flow right when you need it.
That conversion savings to income, that's like the whole game in retirement planning, isn't it?
It really is.
Okay, so speaking of timing, when the payments start,
Yeah.
that seems like another big decision point. Sounds like there's flexibility there too.
Absolutely. The timing is fundamental. You're basically looking at two main structures, immediate and deferred.
Okay, immediate, immediate. Pretty straightforward.
It is, yeah.
Huh?
With an immediate annuity, you buy with a lump sum, and boom, the payments start almost right away, often within a month.
Okay. Who does that? Like, who has a big lump sum ready to go?
Think about someone who maybe gets a large inheritance or sells a business, maybe even wins the lottery.
Right.
They might have this big pile of cash and think, okay, I want stable income now. Instead of managing it all themselves, it's about turning that capital into guaranteed cash flow, like right now.
So capital now, income needed now. Makes sense. What about planning ahead? That must be where deferred annuities fit in.
Exactly right. Deferred annuities are all about future income. You fund them, again, lump sum or over time, and that money sits and grows tax deferred, maybe for years, maybe decades.
Okay.
And you choose a specific date down the road when you want those payments to kick in, maybe when you plan to retire, say age 65 or 70.
So you can really target it.
To get incredible control. You're basically building that future income stream to line up perfectly with when you expect to need it. It's like setting up a future paycheck for yourself, funded by your past savings.
That really makes sense for long-term planning. Okay, so we've got what they are, when they pay out. But I'm guessing they're not all the same under the hood, right? Different ways they make money, different levels of payout certainty, different flavors, maybe?
You got it. There's definitely a spectrum. When we talk about how they generate returns and what that means for your payments, we usually break it down into three main types:
Mm.
fixed, variable, and indexed annuities.
Okay, let's take fixed first. They sound like maybe the simplest.
They generally are, yeah.
Mm.
And that's really their main draw. Fixed annuities give you a guaranteed minimum interest rate while your money's growing. And then, when it's time for payouts, they give you fixed, predictable payments.
So totally predictable.
Exactly. Stability is the name of the game. You know precisely what your income will be. That makes them really appealing for people who, prioritize certainty above all else. They don't want their retirement income bounce around with the market.
Okay, stability. Got it. But what if someone's willing to take on a bit more risk for potentially higher returns, wants a little more spice?
Well, that's where variable annuities step in. With these, your money isn't just earning a fixed rate, it's invested in things called sub-accounts.
Sub-accounts, like mutual funds.
Very much like mutual funds, yeah.
Okay.
They hold stocks, bonds, other securities. So your payments can actually go up if those investments do well.
Ah, potential upside.
But, and this is the crucial part, they can also go down if the market takes a hit.
Okay, so there's market risk. You could lose money.
You absolutely could lose principal.
Yeah.
Variable annuities carry market risk. Now, to kind of soften that blow, many of them offer riders,
Riders.
like add-ons. Exactly. Add-on features you can buy for an extra fee. A really common one is something like a guaranteed lifetime minimum withdrawal benefit. It basically ensures you get some level of income, even if your investments perform poorly.
So you pay extra for a safety net within the variable structure, okay? And then there's that third one, the indexed kind. Sounds like a mix.
It is, yeah. Indexed annuities are kind of fascinating. They try to blend parts of fixed and variable. Technically, they're a type of fixed annuity.
Meaning your principal is safe?
Generally, yes. Your principal is typically protected from market losses, which is a big draw, but the way they calculate your returns is linked to a market index, like the S&P 500.
Okay, so you get market-linked growth, but your money doesn't drop if the index drops. Sounds pretty good. What's the catch?
The catch is usually in how much the index's gain you actually get. They often have caps or participation rates.
Caps and participation rates. Can you break those down, like with an example?
Sure. Let's say the S&P 500 goes up 10% in a year. An indexed annuity might have a cap of, say, 5%. That means the most you can earn that year is 5%, even though the index did better.
Okay, so you miss out on some upside.
Right. Or it might have a participation rate, say 70%. If the index goes up 10%, you get 70% of that gain, which would be 7%.
Ah, okay. So you get some exposure to the market's upside, but not all of it. And the trade-off is that downside protection.
Exactly. You generally don't lose money if the index falls. It's a way to potentially earn more than a traditional fixed annuity, but with a safety net that variable annuities don't inherently have. A buffer, essentially.
That's a really key difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm trying to choose fixed, variable, indexed, it really boils down to my personal comfort level with risk versus how much growth I'm aiming for and how much predictability I absolutely need in retirement.
That's the heart of it. Are you all about that absolute guarantee? Fixed might be it. Are you willing to ride the market waves for potentially higher returns, maybe using riders for some protection? Variable could be an option. Or do you want that protected market-linked return, understanding you won't capture all the gains? Indexed might fit.
Makes sense.
And one insight here, variable annuities sound great with that market upside potential. But sometimes those fees, especially for the riders, can really add up. You need to weigh if the cost of that guarantee is worth it compared to maybe just a straightforward, low-cost investment portfolio, unless that guaranteed income stream is your absolute #1 priority.
That's a perfect transition, actually, because that brings us to the fine print, right?
Yeah.
The catches, the criticisms, the things you really need to watch out for. No financial tool is perfect. What are the common downsides people talk about with annuities?
Yeah, critical discussion. Probably the biggest one you hear about is illiquidity, specifically the surrender period.
Surrender period.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a set number of years, could be 2, could be 7, sometimes even 10 years or more, right after you buy the annuity, where if you take out more than a certain amount of money, you get hit with hefty penalties.
Penalties, like fees.
Big fees, yeah.
Yeah.
They're called surrender charges. They might start at, say, 10% of the withdrawal amount in the first year and then gradually decrease each year until the surrender period is over.
Wow, 10% is steep.
It can be. Now, most contracts do let you take out a small amount each year, usually up to 10% of your account value, without a penalty. But if you need more than that during the surrender period, you'll pay those charges.
Okay. And taxes too, right, if you're young.
Right. On top of surrender charges, if you take withdrawals before age 59 and a half, you'll likely owe regular income tax on the earnings, plus potentially a 10% early withdrawal penalty from the IRS. So pulling money out early can be costly.
So it's not like your money is totally locked away, but it's definitely not your emergency fund. It's more for that long-term foundational income. Is that the right mindset?
That is exactly the right mindset. The takeaway isn't just don't touch it early. It's understanding that an annuity often fits best as maybe the last source of income you tap into in retirement.
Okay.
You might draw down your more liquid investments first, your savings, your brokerage account, and let the annuity provide that guaranteed income later or cover essential expenses throughout. So, yeah, probably not ideal if you think you'll need flexible cash access early on.
Got it. Okay, what else? I've heard people say they can be complex and costly.
That's another valid point. Annuities can be complex products, especially variable and indexed ones, with all their features and riders. And yes, they come with fees.
What kind of fees are we talking about?
Well, you might have administrative fees.
No.
Variable annuities have mortality and expense charges, often called M&E fees. And those riders we talked about, they cost extra, maybe another 0.5% to 1.5% of your contract value each year.
So the costs can add up.
They can, and sometimes they're not immediately obvious. The true cost can be buried in the fine print. That's why it's absolutely vital, crucial really, to ask for, demand even, a clear, full breakdown of all the fees before you sign anything. This isn't something to rush.
Definitely sounds like you need to do your homework. You know, it's funny, when you talk about guaranteed lifetime income, it strikes me that many of us already have things that work like annuities. Here's a thought, like defined benefit pensions, the old school kind,
Right.
and Social Security. Those are basically guaranteed annuities, aren't they? They pay you steady income for life. Gives you a real-world feel for what that stream is like.
That's a perfect way to think about the core benefit, absolutely. And besides just the base income, annuities can offer other bells and whistles. We mentioned income riders earlier. They guarantee a certain payout level. The details vary by age and fees, of course.
Okay.
You can often add death benefits too, so if you pass away before getting all your money back, or even during the payoff phase, your beneficiaries get something.
Okay. That addresses a common concern.
Exactly. And some even offer cost of living adjustments, often tied to an inflation measure, like the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Helps your income keep up with rising prices over time, though that usually costs extra too.
All right, this is getting complex, which brings up regulation. Who's actually overseeing all these different types of annuities? It sounds like a mix.
It is a patchwork, and it's important because it affects the consumer protections you get. So fixed annuities, because they're primarily insurance products, are regulated by your state insurance commissioner.
Okay, state level.
Right. But variable annuities, since they involve investments, securities, they fall under both the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission at the federal level, and state insurance commissioners. Plus, a FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, oversees the firms and brokers selling them.
SEC, states, and FINRA for variable. Wow, what about indexed?
Indexed annuities are mostly regulated by state insurance commissioners, like fixed ones. However, if they're registered as securities, then the SEC and FINRA get involved too. So it can depend on the specific product.
Okay, and the person selling it to me, what licenses do they need?
Good question. To sell any annuity, they need a state-issued life insurance license. If they're selling variable annuities or indexed annuities registered as securities, they also need securities licenses like a Series 6 or Series 7 and be registered with FINRA.
And they often work on commission, right?
Typically, yes. Agents selling annuities usually earn a commission based on the amount you invest. That's been a point of contention sometimes, leading to concerns about conflicts of interest.
Which leads perfectly into something pretty major that happened recently on the regulation front. The retirement security rule from the Department of Labor in 2024. Tell us about that. Why is it a big deal for someone thinking about an annuity?
Huge deal. Yeah, this rule basically says that investment professionals who give advice on retirement accounts, and that includes recommending annuities for your IRA or 401k rollovers, they have to act as fiduciaries.
Fiduciaries, meaning they have to put my interests first.
Legally, yes. Put your best interests ahead of their own potential compensation. The goal is to stop situations where maybe an advisor pushes a more expensive annuity because it pays them a higher commission, even if a cheaper one would be better for you, the client.
That sounds like a massive win for investors. But I gather it's controversial, facing challenges.
You're right. It sounds great on paper, but the rule is actually tied up in court right now.
Ah.
Yeah, the insurance industry, some financial groups, they're fighting it pretty hard. They argue it's unworkable or overreaching. The expectation is that if it fully takes effect, it will likely reduce those commission-based incentives.
So the outcome is uncertain.
For now, yeah. And it raises a really important question for you, the listener. How does this battle over regulations affect the advice you might get today? It really highlights why it's so important to ask any advisor you work with how they get paid and whether they operate under a fiduciary standard regardless of this specific rule.
Absolutely critical. Okay, so considering everything, the timing choices, the different types, the fees, the liquidity issues, the regulations, who are annuities really for, who's the ideal candidate?
Well, they tend to be best suited for people who are looking for that stable, guaranteed income in retirement, especially those concerned about longevity risk outliving their money. Often as someone who's maybe already maxed out other retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs, and they want to allocate a specific chunk of their savings to something utterly predictable for essential expenses.
And who are they not good for?
Generally, they're not recommended for younger folks who really need their money to grow aggressively and need liquidity, or for anyone who might need access to that cash relatively soon because of those surrender periods and potential penalties. If your primary goal is maximizing market returns, a diversified portfolio of low-cost investments might be more suitable than an annuity, especially a variable one with high fees.
Makes sense. And one quick distinction I know comes up, non-qualified versus qualified annuities. What's the difference there tax-wise?
Yeah, simple but important. It's all about the money you use to buy it. A non-qualified annuity is bought with after-tax dollars, money you've already paid income tax on.
Okay.
So when you take withdrawals later, only the earnings are taxed. Your original contributions come back tax-free.
Got it. And qualified.
Qualified annuities are funded with pre-tax dollars. Think money inside a traditional 401k or IRA that you haven't paid taxes on yet.
Right.
With these, both your original contributions and all the earnings are taxed as ordinary income when you take them out in retirement. The tax treatment just follows the rules of the retirement account it's held in.
Okay, good distinction. And it sounds like we might actually see more annuities cropping up in workplace retirement plans soon.
That's right. The Secure Act, which passed back in 2019, included provisions that made it easier and reduced some liability concerns for employers to offer annuity options right inside their 401k and 403b plans.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the idea is to give people the option to convert some of their retirement savings into a guaranteed income stream directly within their workplace plan. So we could see them become more common, more accessible for many workers going forward.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, let's boil it down. Annuities.
Mm.
They can be complex, no doubt, but they're potentially powerful tools for retirement income planning.
Mm.
They offer that unique promise of a guaranteed income stream, helping you hedge against that big fear of outliving your savings. We've seen they come in different flavors: fixed for rock-solid stability, variable for market potential with risk, index for a bit of both with protection.
And different timings, immediate if you need income now, deferred if you're planning for the future.
Right. So what does this all mean?
I think the critical takeaway, to reiterate, is understanding those trade-offs. You're giving up some liquidity, that access to a lump sum, in exchange for that guaranteed future income. You absolutely have to be aware of the surrender periods, scrutinize the fees, understand the regulation.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably the single most important piece of advice, talk to a professional, a qualified fiduciary financial advisor, before you buy any annuity contract. Get personalized advice. Their expertise is really invaluable in figuring out if an annuity fits your specific situation, your goals, your overall financial picture.
Couldn't agree more. It's all about getting informed to make the best choices for your future. So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is this. As you think about your own financial journey, your own retirement, how does this idea of a guaranteed income stream maybe shift your perspective? What questions has this deep dive sparked for you about your next steps in building that secure financial future?
Good questions to ponder.
Definitely. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep planning.